Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine, residential colony, and I am looking at the tree which is Melia zedrec, popularly called as the drink or bakayan, and on it its fruits. There are so many Alexandrine parakeet, Citicula eupatria, with the reddish shoulders. Red blotch on the shoulders is very prominent, and even there is a ring, a rose ringed type, but the shoulder patch which is red, that differentiates it from the rose ringed parakeet. Rose ringed parakeet is Citicula crameri, so it is another species which is Citicula eupatria, Alexandrine parakeet, but in Jammu mostly people call it as Mansari tota, and some people also call it as Sugga, and Sugga bird, I think it has come from Kinshuk, Sanskrit name, and Tota is very popular, and mostly it is fortune teller, and there was a time when on the Gumat stairs in the old city of Jammu, I used to see these parakeets as pet, and they used to tell the fortune, and there used to be many peoples and who are the believers in knowing the fortune, knowing the coming future. So this is the unique feeding habit of parakeets, who are feeding on the poisonous berries, China berry tree or Persian lilac tree, Melia zedrec, also called as Mahanimb in Sanskrit, and its fruits, they have insecticidal properties and also used in biopesticides. And as the fruits are poisonous to many mammals, but the parakeets, I think they have no effect, the bad effect, and they are using it as delicious fruit feast in this cloudy morning when it is chilly, and is January on 11th January 2024. Parakeets, I think more than 10-12 dozen parakeets all are gathered here on this particular Melia zedrec tree from Meliaceae family, drink. And our children who are totally cut off from this nature education, they need to be educated regarding the surrounding biodiversity, how the trees are connected with the feathered friends. Each and every flower is pollinated by some agents, maybe birds, maybe butterflies, maybe honeybees, and even the feeding, there are many frugivores birds, for example barbets usually devour the fig fruits. Likewise, we have hornbills in Jammu city, they are also very fond of eating these figs. And we have green pigeons also, Trairon phoenicopterus, yellow-footed pigeon, very common in Jammu city. You see, all these parakeets have just left because of the noise of the vehicle. Otherwise, they could have taken more time to enjoy the food feast. This is Parakeet Day. So I am showing you another aggregation of Alexandrine parakeet, Citicula eupatria, on dry cheed pine tree. Cheed pine tree, Pinus roxburghi, named in honor of father of Indian botany, Dr. William Roxburgh, who worked in Calcutta and named Indian plants. So many names have the species as Roxburghiana. For example, we have Dicliptra roxburghiana. Similarly, we have cheed pine, Pinus roxburghiana, and large size parakeets which were feasting on fruits of Melia zedrec, and after they had some kind of disturbance there, now they have gathered on Pinus roxburghi tree. Although it is a dry tree, so nothing there to feed upon, no cones, no seeds. Despite that, they are roosting and resting on the tree. And if I can show you, there are some, I think they are Lycaena leucocephala tree far behind. And there are another group of parakeets. They are feasting on the, or either resting, but they can feed upon the seeds of Lycaena leucocephala also, called a Lycaena in Dogri. That's the introduced exotic tree. So on this cloudy day, they have found these trees as their favored perches. And even in Andamans, I could see there is a parakeet island where people go and just see, watch how these parakeets, they come home in the evening. And there's a specified time when one can watch these parakeets. And we have lot of cultural folklore and even folk songs associated with birds, especially parakeets. Tota Maina ki kahani. Maina is a different bird. Maina, which we call Gatari. There is a story associated with both these birds, parakeets and Maina. Maina is Acridothyrid tristis and parakeet is Setacola eupatria. So this is the Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine's residential colony area, where we see more than dozen. One can count. There are more than 20 birds, and that Milia Zedrek fruit feast, and after that fruit feast, they are now gregariously perching on the dry twigs of Pinus roxburghi. In Jammu and Kashmir, we have 4 species of Pinus. Pinus roxburghi is one, which we find in Nandani area, Jammu region, even in Science College, Prince of Wales College. Another is Pinus gerardiana, which we see in Podder area, Kishtwar. And all over the hills in the temperate region of Bhadrawa, Kishtwar, Kashmir Valley, we have blue pine also, that is Pinus wallichiana. And in Kashmir, we have introduced some more pines. 2-needle pine is also there. And Shankaracharya hills also, exotic pines are under cultivation. Pinus gerardiana chilgoja, that finds way to the markets also, because that is sold as the nut. Seed is used for the edible purposes. Likewise, even the seed of Pinus roxburghi can also be eaten. Although this is not that delicious, as delicious we find the seed of Pinus gerardiana, chilgoja or nyoza. And there's a market. Even in Himachal Pradesh, we find Pinus gerardiana, which is endemic to northwestern Himalayas. But this particular cheat pine, which I am just focusing, where these parakeets are sitting, this is very common cheat pine, earlier named as Pinus longifolia. This has been heavily exploited for the resin extraction in the previous decades, and most of these forests were prone for summer time forest fires, because this resin is very highly inflammable material. But now the resin extraction has been banned or stopped, so now these are not tapped. And this particular cheat pine, timber is also used in the houses, but it is more prone for the termite attack, so that is not favored. So we have best timber which is coming from Pinus wallichiana. Setacola cremeri, these have a lot of cultural ethos, and many people always keep these parakeets as pet even in the houses. And still we find many houses having these parakeets kept as pet, and they are very friendly to humans, and they are supposed to even learn the human speech. And there are many fascinating stories associated with parakeets. So this avian bird life, they are very important for the ecology and environment and for the sustainability, because they are the God-gifted natural insect pest controlling agents. They devour away some of the insects harmful also, but sometimes they are also blamed to destroy our fruit crops, especially during apple ripening season. So there is a kind of, you can say, imbalance which leads to our more loss to the crops, and sometimes we are wary of their presence. But in nature, in the wilderness, they need to be protected and preserved, and whatever illegal trade in the parakeets, that need to be stopped for the posterity, because they are also playing very important ecological role as pollinators or seed dispersers. That is very important. They will be eating something and that will be regurgitated by way of excreta somewhere else. So that way seed dispersal takes place. So they are ecologically very important creatures in the web of life. So we need to tell our children and kids how these creatures were interpreted by our forefathers, and local communities had different names in different languages, and how these birds, feathered friends, they are intimately associated with the surrounding flora and fauna.